Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Late night is off again this week. In a moment, I'll talk about Joe Rogan had on Aaron Rodgers. That gets a little political, so I won't put that in the leadoff spot. Let's start with this one from theroot.com. Aries Spears was feeling the heat over the weekend, and well-deservedly so. He made a comment in an interview where he compared Lizzo to the poop emoji. His comments went viral. Spears appeared on the Art of Dialogue and said, "I can't get past the fact that she looks like the poop emoji. She's got a very pretty face, but she keeps showing off her body like, come on, man, come on, yo. I'm sorry, listen, I ain't the most in shape fellow in the world, but I still, when you're funny and you got swagger and confidence and you're decent looking, I think I'm at least handsome, you get, women." I'm trying to clean this up, guys. But a woman that's built like a plate of mashed potatoes is in trouble. He dug in deeper and said, F diabetes, F heart problems, F heart disease, cholesterol. You all claim womanhood and about sisterhood and support for your sister, you know, when it comes to that ridiculous stuff. But if you really gave an F, why wouldn't you go, black girl, we love your confidence, boo-boo, but this ain't it, this ain't it. That's the real love. Y'all jump on me for making jokes, but you won't be effing real and go, sister, put the eclair down. This ain't it. It's treadmill time. As you can imagine, Twitter reacted. One user wrote, "I'm really blown away that Aries Spears had the big mouth audacity to attack Lizzo for being fat. He's a fat black man encouraging us to weaponize fat phobia against Lizzo. The math just ain't mathing." Another user wrote, "The Lizzo hate still gets really under my skin because all that woman does is put out good music, love her beautiful self, and cheer for everyone else to win. Meanwhile, Lizzo is twerking and jumping around on stage while playing a whole-ass wind instrument, and this man is dealing with labored breathing, just sitting and hating." Aries Spears knew the hate was coming. We know this because on social media he wrote, "I knew it was coming!" Triple exclamation point. If the people that are angry, particularly women, really paid attention to the Art of Dialogue interview, one, I even called myself out for needing to lose weight, and two, more importantly, the main point was celebrating the wrong thing. There's a lot of hypocritical women who also bash men at laughter's expense, but if you're going to celebrate sisterhood while Lizzo's confidence is commendable, it's also dangerous. Well, on Sunday, Lizzo was on the 2022 MTV Video Music Awards, which apparently is still a thing. She accepted the award in the Video for Good category for About Damn Time, and then she turned her attention to critics and said, "Your vote means everything to make a change in this country, so remember when you're voting for your favorite artists, vote to change some of those laws that are oppressing us. Now, to the bitches that got something to say about me in the press, I'm not going to say nothing. Why don't you clap back? Because, bitch, I'm winning." She later shared that clip on Twitter and added a caption, "Keep my name in your mouth, MLUF, because I know it tastes good, bitch." Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers was on the Joe Rogan Experience. Here I am, minding my own business by the pool, and I see there's a new episode of Joe Rogan. It's got Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, this is going to be good. And sure enough, it was good. They discussed many things, including the vaccine. Aaron Rodgers claimed that he's allergic to polyethylene glycol, also known as PEG, which is why he didn't want to take the mRNA vaccines. Many had speculated that that was the ingredient Rodgers referenced being allergic to when he first made claims that he could not take the COVID vaccines last season, following a positive COVID test that made him miss a game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Rodgers said at different points in the podcast that 7 to 10 of his teammates were unvaccinated last season. He discussed pain management around the league, and he said he's played games on Percocet before, which he later admitted was a bad idea. He then advocated for CBD as an alternative anti-inflammatory, with the logic being it doesn't damage the liver in the way that many of the pills other players take do. He said he's dealt with knee issues since 1999. Beginning in January of 2016, he, quote, cut a lot of dairy and gluten from his diet and says that has helped him stay healthy and keep inflammation down. He told a story where he was nearly expelled from the University of California for a beef he had with a professor who taught a food appreciation class. According to Rodgers, the professor treated him unfairly, which he reported to his team's liaison with the school. That led to a kangaroo court hearing, which, according to Rodgers, ended with Rodgers being given two options. First option, write an apology to the professor. Second option, be expelled from the school. Well, Rodgers picked the apology, and he used the professor's words as motivation to chase his NFL dream. The conversation turned to politics. Joe Rogan said, I have a friend, and his brother works on the COVID response in California. Remember when they made a decision to close outdoor dining, and it turned out one of the people that made the decision the day she did it went out and was dining outdoors? Rodgers said, I thought you meant Gavin Newsom going to the French Laundry. Rogan said, yeah, that was fun. Rogan continued discussing outdoor dining. Then Rodgers wanted to discuss beach closures. Joe, they closed the beaches in California. They closed the beaches where I live in California and all around the coast. They discussed a paddleboarder that was arrested in Malibu for violating the state's stay-at-home order. Rodgers joked, what, he's passing COVID to the dolphins or what? Rogan added that now the pandemic's over, people are going to recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it. But as far as compensation for all those people that were forced to close their businesses and keep their doors shuttered and lost everything that worked for decades to build, now they're just going to be angry. Aaron Rodgers asked Rogan what those people should do, and Rogan said, vote Republican. Earlier this month, Aaron Rodgers said he used a drug called ayahuasca during the 2020 offseason. Rodgers said, I think there's a hunger for what I experienced, for what you talked about with mushrooms. Is this the death of the ego, the realization that we're all connected, the greater sense of what community is? When you dissolve the ego, the amount of love you can give back to yourself and other people takes away from me. So much judgment of myself and others, so much separation between myself and others. The greater sense of connection was overwhelming. When I kind of came out of that and got back to like reality, now here's the integration. Here's me in a different form. Trib Live caught up with Stephen Wright. He has a favorite joke, although it hasn't been in recent rotation. He may pull it back out. He says, my jokes are like a baseball lineup, although there's 200 players instead of 9, so I might put this joke back in the lineup. The joke is, 2 babies are born in the hospital on the same day, and they're laying in their beds in the same room. Then each family came in and took their babies away. The babies lived their entire lives, and then 85 years later, by a bizarre coincidence, they're in the hospital in the same room, laying there looking at each other, and one of them said to the other, so what'd you think? As I mentioned, I'm the writer on a show called Palace Intrigue. We talk about the royal family. On Monday, an interview with Meghan Markle came out. It was so explosive, we did a bonus episode on Monday, and there's a new episode in the feed this morning discussing the Meghan Markle interview. Also, tomorrow is the 25th anniversary of the passing of Lady Diana. I remember where I was. I'll share that story tomorrow. I caught up on some TV over the weekend. I watched Rob McElhenney's Welcome to Wrexham. That's where he and Ryan Reynolds bought a soccer team. I loved it. I'm not sure it's hilarious. I'm not sure it's even a comedy, but it's a really nice show. The obvious comparison is real-life Ted Lasso, but it's kind of real-life Ted Lasso. I really enjoyed it. Welcome to Wrexham is on Hulu. I also have seen 5 of the 8 episodes of Mo. That's Mo Amer's new show on Netflix. It's really cool. The first 2, I was like, this is okay. Then there's a scene involving a priest, and I was like, oh, I see what this show can be. Then the next episode went somewhere else entirely, and I was like, oh, I see what this show can be. So I'm into Mo. I'm watching 1 or 2 a night. So strong recommendations for me on Welcome to Wrexham and Mo. Welcome to Wrexham on Hulu, Mo on Netflix. Let's stop off at Gossip Corner. You know who turned 40 over the weekend? That's right, John Mulaney. And he shared some photos on Instagram. These photos taken at Nashville's Ryman Auditorium, presumably after the show because the theater was vacant. Maybe nobody went to see John Mulaney. No, I don't think that's true. In the photo, Mulaney, Olivia Munn, and 9-month-old Malcolm. Mulaney captured the photos. There's truly no better way to turn 40. Congratulations to Australian comic Sam Campbell. Sam Campbell has won the top prize for his show at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. This from the BBC. Sam Campbell's show is called Comedy Show. It was described as original, surreal, and full of unexpected jokes. Sam wins £10,000 in prize money. The Guardian gave Sam Campbell's show 4.5 stars out of 5. Their review, loopiness underpinned by sharp observations. The Australian comic takes incongruity to uncommon lengths, and this year he's recalibrated his show towards warmth. One of his quotes, my mind is a prison full of crazy ideas, and I think there's going to be a jailbreak. Campbell's imagination produces wonderfully adhesive images such as the offspring of Joe Rogan and his bar stool, or the girlfriend who refuses to remove her Deliveroo cube. Sometimes the wacky atmosphere conceals fairly conventional jokes, like the one about the consequences for Paddington Bear's name had he been found elsewhere. Campbell said, I deserved the award and I was expecting it. And then he said, no, it was a big surprise. It's insane. He's going to use the prize money to be taller. Campbell's show ran at midnight only for the second half of the festival, and it came with a warning from the comic. He said, I want to be a worldwide performer. I hope you don't mind, but this show will pretty much just involve me going up there and being nice with it. Laura Ricote, a hard-of-hearing Mexican-born performer who was brought up in the United States, was awarded £5,000 after being named Best Newcomer for her show, GRL/LATNX/DEF, as in Girl Latinx Deaf. The Guardian writes, the Edinburgh Fringe is too long, too expensive, and too grueling. It must change or die. With litter strewn across the streets, the heavens opening, and drawn faces on every comic who didn't make the awards shortlist, there's a post-apocalyptic feel to the end of this year's Edinburgh Fringe. Wow, there's a review. Comic Sarah Keyworth joked, the only thing that should last a month is a month. Is the model broken? Comedy producer Owen Donovan tweeted, comes down to a lot of people having a crap time, both those on and off stage. Chortle reports ticket sales across the entire Fringe were down 26.7% compared to 2019's pre-pandemic numbers. 2.2 million tickets were issued this year, down from the 3 million back in 2019. The number of shows was down 12% from 3,800 to 3,334. And that's your comedy news for today. You can follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your shows, and I'll see you tomorrow.